Hello everybody, this is VerticalSandwich and welcome back to Let's Play Rayman Raving Rabbids 2. And we have a first-person shooter to do. Hooray! I think that's how I start every video, isn't it? Like, we have blah 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 to do. Hooray! FYI, for anybody who cares, oh, big city fights. Shoot the rabbit. Oh yeah, this is, no, we're doing first-person shooter. Why am I reading instructions like we haven't done this before? Anyway. So for those of you who are keeping track, and I know none of you are because I've never mentioned this before, I just shaved my winter beard into a hullahy. If you don't know what that is, you should Google hullahy because it looks amazing, like crazy. Yeah, every time I've ever sported this facial hair, awesome things have happened for me, so I just figured I could use a dose of awesomeness. Okay, so theoretically this should be your first level of the first-person shooter, I think. So. And it's pretty basic. I mean, you know. If falling psychotic rabbits with umbrellas and shooting plungers at spaceships is basic, then we are definitely in a video game world. Huh. I like the little football guys that get like, they have like the foam finger. Is that what they hit you with? It doesn't seem like that would do you damage. We had a lot of trouble getting that guy, and he wasn't even armed. Got us while we were empty. Jerks. That's gotta be the worst feeling in the world in an actual, I mean, like, obviously this is a goofy first-person shooter, but in like an actual situation where you would be firing a weapon to like suddenly be empty and have somebody pointing a weapon at you. Oh my god, I can't imagine the terror that must feel like. I like these obviously animated cars. That's really kind of fun. Again, it looks like Who Framed Roger Rabbit with that animated talking taxi that drives everywhere. Benny, I think his name was Benny the cab, I don't know. Ooh, cowboy sound effects. Bet that means cowboys are coming. That's not a cowboy. It's a guy in like riot gear. All right. What is this, Central Park? I've been to Central Park once. It was the easiest thing to find in Manhattan. Giant park in the middle. Although like Park Avenue and stuff with like all the museums and all that, that was pretty easy too. Yeah, I went on vacation there, stayed in Hell's Kitchen for a while. It was a couple days. It was good. It was cool. We get to see Metropolitan Museum of Modern Art and stuff, and the Metropolitan Museum, and the Guggenheim. But it was like they were doing renovations or something, so like they only had one like little section of it open. It was a little disappointing. Where else did we go? We went other places. Oh, I saw Phantom of the Opera just off Broadway. Times Square a bunch of times. You know, just Ground Zero, all the Manhattan touristy stuff. Empire State Building at the top of that. It was fun. It was a fun 4 days. A friend of mine really wanted to do it. I had nothing better going on. I was like, yeah, let's go to Manhattan. Like, the goofy life I lead. It's weird because I can tell stories like that. And it's so funny how, like, you say that kind of stuff out loud, like, oh, yeah, the time I went to Manhattan and went to the Guggenheim, or, like, the time I was hanging out on Fremont Street in Vegas, or the time a guy tried to pick me up thinking I was a male prostitute on the Strip, like, in Vegas. And, like, those things all really happened to me, by the way. 2 of those are actually going to Manhattan and stuff, and, like, hanging out on Fremont Street are not a big deal. The guy thinking I was a male prostitute was just funny. Anywho, but like when I say them out loud, You know, they don't even seem real to me half the time when I think about them. You know. Although, okay, so I'm gonna tell you this story, and this is not an LP or appropriate story at all, but I'm gonna tell it. So I was on the strip in Vegas, and what I was doing was actually walking from like the Stratosphere to Fremont Street or something. I mean, like just not a great area. In the middle of the night too. But I had been traveling. I drove all the way to Vegas, so I've been like sleeping in my car, and I've been on the road for like 3 days. I must have looked pretty scraggly, and I'm walking, and I was walking to my car. I parked my car somewhere, and I'm walking, and this guy pulls up, and he's like, "Hey, you need a ride?" And I'm like, "No," and he's like, "Hey, what nationality are you?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "What nationality are you?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm white." You know, that's what, you know. And he's like, "Well, that's not what I meant." And I'm like, "Well, what did you mean?" And he's like, "What, are you straight or are you bi or, you know, you gay, what?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm straight." And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, so that means you don't do stuff with dudes, huh?" And I'm like, "No." And then he looks at me and he says, "Not even for cash?" And I was like, "No, not for cash." Like that was gonna change it. Like I was gonna be like, "Oh, we mean for cash." That happened to me in Vegas. It did. I know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but apparently not. For me, it's what happens in Vegas gets broadcast on YouTube. Take that, Super Buddy. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I hadn't had the advantages of modern plumbing for 3 days at that point. Like I'd been stopping at rest stops but like that was about it. Sleeping in my car, and I just looked. You know, I looked like I had been on the street for a bit, so maybe, you know, I mean, I can't blame the guy for what he thought if that was the kind of area I was in. I mean, I didn't know Vegas. I was being an idiot kid. Like this was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. You know, I was just being a dumb kid, like just going to Vegas so I could gamble, you know, and say that I'd been to Vegas and things like that. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, and I have, like, maybe I should tell more of my road stories, because, like, I spent the last 3 years on the road, jumping from hotel to hotel, working jobs, kind of all over the country, stuff like that. I've got some interesting stories. There have been some interesting misunderstandings and some really cool places I've been, and some really cool things I've done and seen, and so I don't know. Maybe I'll try to incorporate that somewhere. But anyway, okay. So we're almost to our boss here. It happens right here, and this is like the most. I mean, obviously it's supposed to be, but this is just the most blatant rip-off of the first Terminator movie ever. Like with these, I think they did that in the second one too. I don't know if they did it in the third one, where the electric bubble brings the robot back. But I mean, the outfit is definitely, it's the first Terminator. Alright. James Cameron, back when you were making just movies about ass-kicking robots. Alright. So that's it. He's got this is a standard Raving Rabbids boss. You just you shoot the missile back at him, and then you can shoot him. And he'll always fire a plunger. Like, he won't fire plungers at you except when the missile's in the air. And I think it's always just one. So easy stuff. He even gets a little Terminator-y where, like, the skin's burned off and you can see the metal at one point. The crazy thing about that Vegas story, too, is it's not the only time a guy has tried to pick me up while I was just walking down the street. I think it's I have long hair. Maybe it's like I'm a skinny guy with long hair. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just have a look. I just have a vibe. I have a vibe that people are like, that guy is selling his body. That's horrible. That's horrible. I just said that out loud. Whatever. We finished. Oh my god, we are so finished here. Like, oh man. Is this the kind of stuff you post? Probably not. I should probably eliminate this commentary. I haven't slept all night. I had a lot of stuff going on. Like crazy family stuff. Oh, and we accidentally replayed the game. Oh my god. So anyway, so tune in for more VerticalSandwich saying embarrassing stuff about his life experiences. Just for the record, I'm not a male prostitute. So we've unlocked our Tropics tour, so we can start running through that. So this is all the stuff that we couldn't, we couldn't do before. I'm really trying to recover my mental equilibrium from that whole spiel about people trying to pick me up for I don't know how to get past that now. Okay, snail races. Snail races. All we gotta do is shake the Wiimote up and down. That's all we've gotta do, people. And apparently these are giant radioactive snails, so that makes it fun. It's actually as unfun as it can be. Look at that finish line just right ahead of us. Just, seriously, inches ahead of us. Go, 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 you stupid snail. Alright, there we go. I think he gets out and runs around his snail. The poor snail, he just worked to death. But we got a high score. It's a good way to start our Tropics run, right? These games are not particularly harder, in my opinion, anyway. Woohoo! They waited a long time for that. That's one of like the boss outfits. Oh no, I have the hiccups. An Elp here with the hiccups. That's like the second worst thing ever. I don't know what the worst thing ever is. I have a habit of doing that, of just saying like, that's number 4 on my top 5 list of blah blah blah, whatever's going on. I've never played this before in my life. Dizzy Race. And then people be like, well, what are the other 4? I'm just like, I don't know. I just said 4 on my list because I just thought it was funny that it was number 1. So. I don't think pouring lighter fluid in a volcano would have that effect. Just my thought. Okay, so I get that these guys are dizzy, but like, it's, you know what? It's not letting me like correct and go back or anything. I wonder if it switches up the control. I can't figure out how this works. Oh, this is horrible. Like I'm barely moving forward. I'm just going back and forth. Oh, there we got some progress. That was not bad. Oh my god. We're not moving. I can't get off this wall. This is so horrible. Oh my god. We did as bad as we probably possibly could. And got 6,000 points. Whew. Almost 7,000. So that's an old-fashioned kind of classic Rayman costume. That's actually my favorite Rayman costume out of the first game, so I'm glad it was in here. Oh, this game is weird. Like, this game there's nothing to it. It gives you a countdown and you're supposed to hit the plunger as close to 0 as you can. Like, that's it. You gotta move the Wiimote once, as close to 0 as possible. It gives you 3 tries. So there you go. Oh man. Aha, that rabbit's gonna blow himself up. I called it. Jeez. Alright, Rayman. Do it. Oh, we could have done better. I mean, 7/10 of a second? Yeah, it's amazing how long a second is when you have like a stopwatch timer going. Like, you really do have time for a lot of thought processes in a second. In fact, I suppose with that running, like when this plays back, you'll be able to... You could see how many words I said in 1 second. So it had to be several. Right? I mean, I can talk as much as I want, and then you could see how many words I could say in a second. Wow, I almost timed that to where I wanted it. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, you know what? I'm in a really crazy zone. Which, good or bad, I don't know. You guys be the judge. If you don't like this, thumbs down, and I'll take it down and re-record it. No, I won't. I absolutely won't do that. Anyway, you guys, thanks for watching. We come back to finish this tour, and maybe the first-person shooter. So, bye, everybody.